Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geekonomics. We're back. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm annoying Brian because he was drinking before we started the show, so I thought he was in the middle of a sip. So I was going to wait and make him hold that sip for as long as humanly possible. Brian's trying to get sponsored by Polar so that way he can get free seltzers.
Please send them my way.
Send Brian all of the seltzers.
Yes, I like them all. Please.
Must collect them all. So how you doing, Brian? How was your week? I know we hung out on Saturday. We had D&D.
Yeah,
How was the rest of your week?
good. I mean, D&D was the highlight, obviously.
And you had a really boring week.
I worked.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you do? That was more exciting than D&D. I mean, other things happened, but D&D was great to see everybody. We had I kind of feel like getting a feel from a character, and I kind of feel like I can start
to kill this one not as quick as you killed the other ones.
Yeah, but I can start thinking about a backstory. Like, it's so hard to think of a backstory for a character I barely played, and I have no connection.
Exactly, yeah.
But I had a great time. I think I'm into it more than I've ever been, to be honest with you. I think we have a good group. There's some planning issues, but we'll get through that.
I have issues with that as well, but not probably the same issues you have.
This is not here nor there to talk about. But anyway, it was a great time. It was great to see you and all the guys in person. And it's crazy to think we just played 6 months ago. It's 6 weeks, rather.
Yeah.
And how quickly time has went.
Yes.
Like, holy smokes. And the next time we play potentially could be the weekend, the Thanksgiving weekend break.
Yeah.
As long as everyone's free that weekend.
I think everyone's good. You're the only one that was kind of not sure.
That's the shopping weekend in my household. So as long as
my gosh.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it's crazy to think how quickly we've gotten 3 sessions under our belt.
Yeah.
And we're just now getting the feel for our character. Well, I only have one character alive, so.
Yes, yeah. Well, I lost one for the first time.
Saturday. Huh? Oh, yeah, it's true. But anyway, before we get into the show, we have East of the River comic book collectible show coming up October 30th, which
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. 1 week and 6 days away.
Yes. If you want to get technical about it. It's Sunday, October 30th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 9 a.m. is early bird, which is $3 to get in the door. 10 a.m. is $1. American Legion, Enfield, Connecticut. A lot of new booths. I'm going to have a lot of new stuff. This potentially might be the last show of the year for me. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about ClipsCon. If he's doing one before the holidays or not. He is. I don't think the hotel isn't happening.
Oh, the hotel got booked. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It got double booked. So
yeah. So
he's not doing it there, but there will be something. I'm not sure what exactly it's going to be.
Yeah. So potentially this could be my last one until next year. I don't really know, but
yeah.
That's fine with me because the holidays get busy. But it's always great. I like doing them. So we'll keep everyone posted when Cliff does his one before the holidays. Maybe I'll be at that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Mark, you are not going to be working the door at this one.
The plan is no, as of right this second. Because I might be at Matt Buckler is being inducted into the New England Auto Racers Hall of Fame that same day.
Oh.
So I might be. The plan is to go to that and be there to support Matt and
yes,
help him out. Yeah, so
totally
might be doing that. That's like 2 hours away in Massachusetts. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I got in the middle of nowhere, some hotel.
They're usually at some hotel.
Yeah, I did one yesterday, so it was something different yesterday that was very interesting.
Yeah. Can you share what you did?
Yeah, no, I did the Connecticut Sports
Media Alliance's Gold Key ceremony, which is like their lifetime achievement and yearly awards for athletes from
Oh,
Connecticut.
wow.
So they they give out Gold Key awards, which are like lifetime achievement awards to different athletes from around the state. And they do like their coach of the years for men's and women's sports, high school sports, and I think all sports, basically, college too.
Right.
And then male and female athletes of the year through all the sports in Connecticut. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There was some like there's an old Major League Baseball pitcher from back in the 90s, Rob Dibble. He's from Southington. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies. So he was there. He got an award, and there's some other people that got awards as well. But it was a good time.
Cool.
Little banquet, and just film it, and then we're gonna put it on public access.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Were you there filming it or for another?
Yes. Yeah, no, always filming. The more content, the better. And then I sat next to a person, mother and daughters who were from Summers.
Yeah.
Because one of the coaches that was going in or was getting an award was from Summers. And it was kind of funny because they all knew my cousins because they all live in Summers. So, and then the oldest daughter is going to Mitchell down in New London, a college down there. And she's going for, she wants to be on-air talent, like for TV stuff. So I was chatting them up and asked, telling them about public access, and they were asking questions and stuff. So yeah, might even got another intern out of the deal somehow. So
cool. Nice.
Always promoting that public access, always shilling, getting people to come in.
For that dying industry of public access, yes.
Yes. Television as a whole.
And that's why today's show is not sponsored by
Polar
Seltzer.
Yep.
Black Cherry. Get you going in the morning.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome, Mark.
Yeah, it was a good time. And the food was decent, so that's always good too.
Yeah, banquet food is general. Let me guess what the banquet food was.
Okay. All right.
Chicken marsala.
No.
Chicken parm.
No.
Chicken of any kind.
No.
Steamed vegetables.
There was a carrots, yes.
Potato of some kind.
Mashed potatoes, yes.
Now, if it wasn't chicken, was it roast beef?
There was roast beef, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, so steamed vegetables, potatoes, roast beef, and then some sort of dessert thing that came in a cup of some sort.
There was also turkey and stuffing.
Turkey
and
stuffing.
Pasta.
Oh, pasta's a staple at all banquets.
Yeah.
Gotta have the pasta.
Yeah.
And salad. Was there salad and bread?
It was salad. Yep, salad and bread. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Your typical banquet.
It was good though. It was all right. It's free. I didn't pay for it.
I think that's what makes it good.
Yeah, I got paid to be there, so it's fine by me.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mark, today we're going to discuss the final in the series as a whole of She-Hulk. That will be today's
big topic. Yes, that's the big topic of the day. Yes.
So sadly, the writing was on the wall on this for a while now, and G4 came and G4 went.
Already?
Yes, as of this
Not
weekend.
even a year.
It's been 1 full year.
Jeez.
Well, they've been back for 2 years, but only 1 year on cable, Comcast. They came back 2 years ago, and then the summer leading into it, they were streaming.
Yeah.
Then the channel went live for a year. So basically, I love G4 growing up. It had its place because we didn't have YouTube people or personalities talking about video games at that time. I kind of feel like
it ran its course.
It had its place in history.
Yes.
We can only surf the wave of nostalgia for so long.
Yeah.
It came back on nostalgia, and it was great in the beginning, but even I stopped watching. I watched X Play clips on YouTube because Adam Sessler did reviews, and I would watch his stuff. But
maybe it goes back to that kind of scenario, like be a streaming, like a YouTube channel kind of thing.
It was a YouTube channel, but
but like stay that way, like go back to that.
They never were. They were a cable channel.
I know, but after they're like, just do the videos, but just put them on YouTube and don't have like an actual channel. I'm saying.
Well, what they did was they had a Twitch channel, they had a YouTube channel, and they were on cable.
Yeah.
The YouTube views started off pretty good.
Yeah.
But over time they got lower and lower and lower. And a lot of the YouTube creators out there that were inspired by G4 and watched G4 growing up and that now are covering video game news and doing their own stuff are way more popular.
Yeah.
And G4 hired some of these creators to come aboard. And if you go to their channels, their subscriptions and hit count are like twice the amount G4 was bringing in, or X-Play was bringing, or Attack of the Show was bringing in.
Yeah. And I tried watching it, the rehash of it, and it's just, I don't know. It was just not like, I think I'm too old.
It's not the
same. Old. That's why I watched it. I'm like, yeah, I'm too old for this. I don't find this funny anymore. It's just annoying.
Yeah. And
the guys on it are on my age. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like a bunch of dads trying to act like they're 20. It was just weird.
I mean, I've gravitated towards other personalities on YouTube for my gaming news, and it was kind of like trying to watch them. It was just like, this had its place. But yeah, as of this weekend, they put in Comcast.
I don't think video games are the same as they used to be. It's not as like a. I mean, I know that they're still popular, and I know it's still huge and everything.
Oh, video games are more popular than they were when G4 was on cable.
Yes, I think just the medium that they were using and what they were trying to do.
Well, it hadn't been done before.
This didn't work.
What do you mean?
The people that play video games aren't like sitting around watching television.
Well, no. See, okay, when G4 was on cable, video games were a growing industry.
Yeah.
We had no places to go to get our news. So
That's what I'm saying. Yes. It wasn't the YouTube world yet.
Yeah. Now that G4 didn't exist and all these places exist, like you have IGN, you have all these outlets that cover them very well.
Yeah.
That do very, and then G4 tries to come back, but they're using a cable model that, and
that's
then
what I'm saying. Yes.
Twitch and YouTube.
Yes.
It just didn't. It just was hard to really gain traction.
Yeah.
That's all. And yeah, it's crazy. And I still watch when they actually did that Thanksgiving special. To me, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
When you had Morgan Webb, Adam Sessler, you had all the old people come back. The only two people who came back to help the new channel was Adam Sessler and Kevin Pereira.
Yeah.
And that's it. And everybody else are all doing their own things.
Yeah.
So I think people came in because they wanted to see those two personalities again.
Yeah.
But Kevin Pereira was actually leaving. He only wanted to be on for a year.
Yeah.
Then, last month, they had huge layoffs. They laid off like 50% of the staff.
Yeah.
So the writing was on the wall that G4 was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So G4 is no more as of this weekend.
No loss. No big loss there.
Yeah, it really wasn't. It was, I like going back and watching the old X plays on YouTube or Attack of the Shows on YouTube.
It's like these shows that they're trying to rehash and remake, like Quantum Leap. And it's not the show I want. If I wanted to watch the show, I want to watch the show I watched when I was younger. I don't want to watch this new version of it.
Yeah. I'll just go back. I like watching the old ones, to be honest with you.
I'm going to watch Quantum Leap. I want Scott Bakula. I don't want Rando guy.
Rando man. Have you watched the new Quantum Leap?
I don't think it's even started yet. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, it started.
No, I have no idea.
I have not watched it.
Yeah.
Nor do I have a interest in it.
Yeah, no, me either.
So that's really, and then I know
Power of Rings ended.
Ring of Power, yes.
Ring of Power,
season
and then
finale was this past Friday.
Game of Thrones ended too.
I don't know. I haven't watched Game of Thrones since episode 3.
I think the season finale was this weekend.
Oh, yeah, we're behind on it, and I really hate to say it, I'm not like running to watch it.
I'm excited to watch it. Now that it's over, I think me and Alex will jump on.
It was very long-winded. I wasn't a fan.
Well, I will. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
How was Ring of Power?
Ring of Power was good. It was unlike the first movies, the original movies, the Lord of the Rings movies, where it was a lot of walking to destroy a ring. Ring of Power is a lot of walking to make rings. That's how you sell a show right there.
I have no interest in this show at all. It sounds very boring.
It was, I don't know.
Was it good? How'd you like it?
It's good. It's just I don't know. I'm trying to get into it. I tried to get into it a lot. I thought it was good. The action was fun. It's just it's falling into the Lord of the Rings thing for me. It's like it's a lot of, I don't know, too much talking.
You don't like your characters talking.
I do, but it's a lot of talking to just make rings, and it's all like secretive stuff, and this guy is not really this person, and I don't know. John was all into it. I was trying to talk to John and Dumont about it on Saturday, and I as they were getting deep into lore, my eyes just glazed over. I'm like, this is what happens when I watch the show. I like what I'm being a part of and enjoying the visuals of it, but the story itself is too enveloped for me to jump into, because you almost have to not have to know who these characters will end up being down the road.
I think it gives you context though.
Yes.
Because I watched that first 2 episodes and I was like, vanilla white woman and vanilla white guy.
Yeah.
You are boring to me.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, but you're 2 crackers standing on this most beautiful set I've ever seen.
Yes.
I felt like I was watching the most expensive screensaver. I was just like, this is beautiful, but you're boring. I don't know what the heck is going on.
The acting is not groundbreaking by any means.
Yeah.
It is a lot of deadpan. Well, that's just because they're elves, and that's the shtick of the elves. It's just they're very deadpan. There's no emotion. There's no and the guy who plays Elrod ends up being Hugo Weaving in Lord of the Rings movies.
I don't know who that is. I know who Hugo Weaving is. I don't know.
He ends up being his character in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
The main elf.
See, I want to watch Lord of the Rings. So then, if I want to give the show a chance, I think I would have more context going in.
You'd think that.
But as someone who's
I've seen all the Lord of the Rings, and I still have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but are you really into Lord? You've never struck me as someone. You've always mocked Lord of the Rings. So
I never read the books or anything, but I watched the movies, and I watched the Hobbit cartoon when I was younger.
Yeah, and we saw the Hobbit movie, which started off. I saw
the Hobbit movies. I saw those.
For the wet part, they were bad.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you can be indifferent. That's fine.
I mean, it could be it's the thing is too. It's they ended the first season right before the good stuff was about to start. That's what it felt like.
Sort of like The Hobbit. Remember, the first movie ended right when the dragon showed up.
Exactly, same kind of thing.
The dragon flies into the city.
This one, the rings are made, and a big reveal happens, and that person ends up going to a place where stuff's gonna happen. And it's like, well, this is everything I want, and now I have to wait for you to make the next season.
I think season 2 might be in production already.
Yeah, but it's just it wasn't. It was a good season, but it was just I don't know, kind of strange that it was just the way it ended.
Right. All right.
Do you think you'll go back for season 2?
Oh, probably, because if it comes out when there's not much else on, like this one did, then probably.
But it sounds like you're interested to see what happens, though.
Well, it's I don't know. I call it like not train wreck television, but like if it's there, I'll watch it, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like because we do this show, I feel obliged more than anything to watch these things.
You don't have to, Mark.
But then what would we talk about?
We have plenty to talk about.
Well, I know, but I have to watch a couple shows to kind of at least keep interest here. You know?
We got plenty to talk about.
I mean, She-Hulk is not enough to fill a whole like show. I have to have other things to watch, to talk about. You know, I can't come to the table with nothing.
Well, we got.
Can't be like you and just blame it on I haven't watched shows forever, and you know. But I have watched the same episode of Law and Order 60 times. And discuss your love for Elliot Stabler. I mean, we can't do that for an hour.
Why not?
Because this is your mother's podcast. That's why.
I hate to tell you, we're the age for Law and Order watching.
I'll never be the age for Law and Order watching.
I love Law and Order.
I know you do.
Unabashedly, I love Law and Order.
Did you ever see the John Oliver segment where he talks about Law and Order?
I saw that he did that, and I'm interested. It was talking about.
You won't like it.
Huh?
You won't like it.
Well, I know it's about. Marissa Hargitay has like a not-for-profit to help women, I believe.
That's not what it's about.
No? They don't talk about that?
No.
Do they talk about that people think Law and Order is a real documentary and they think exactly what happens in Law and Order? This is what I say to that.
Yes.
You're dumb. Because it's a television show.
Yes, they think that's how all police work. And that's how like the world works.
It's not Law and Order's fault. It's
when there's fault. And it talks about how that the executive producer of it,
Dick Wolf,
perpetuates the certain way the stories are told.
Yeah, but I've never watched Law and Order and said that's what happens in real life. I know
not like that, but just like that all cops are like all like cases are solved and all things are. It's you'll have to watch it.
I have to watch it, but I mean,
it was a while ago.
My
it kind of like lambasts Law and Order, and it's formulaic television, how everything's wrapped up in an hour-long episode.
But that's television. That's like
then people think, but then like it perpetuates people's thoughts.
I know.
So they watch all of them. That's how the court system works. Like everything is.
I guess if you watch television,
black and white, and the cops always do everything right, and
if you believe that television is like literally a mirror of life, then I guess that's right. But
Brian, we live in a country that voted Donald Trump president.
Like I said, I don't watch Friends and think they're really in New York City. I mean,
but there are a select group of people that live in a certain part of the country that probably think that they can go out and move to New York with their friends and get a huge apartment
and not have jobs
and be able to afford it.
Right. Well, I'll have to watch it, but I find if anybody actually believes what they're watching on a fictional television show to be true,
I don't think it's the story he did isn't about the stories that like they portray on Law and Order being true. It very much portrays the fact that the police do everything correctly, and it's very police centric, like biased almost.
I mean, I've seen episodes where the police don't do the right thing. I mean,
well, you have to watch this segment. It was a while ago, so I can't talk exactly about how.
All right, I'll watch it. And I'll report back.
I think it was a couple months ago that he did it.
All right, I'll check it out. Yeah. I honestly have stopped watching a lot of news-related programs, and life is so much better.
Yeah, no, I don't watch the news at all anymore.
Like I haven't watched a Jon Stewart show. I stopped watching John Oliver, even though I still love him. I just don't want my stomach to hurt for another 4 years after going through what I went through the last 4 years. So it's just so
I
nuts.
mean, it's not as bad.
I understand. Sometimes I need a break.
Yeah.
4 years of just being glued to every news comedian.
Well, that was your own fault. You did that to
It
yourself.
was, and now I need a break. So I'm taking my sabbatical away from news.
Sabbatical away from information.
Yeah. Well, Mark, let's jump in to the series as a whole and that series finale.
Oh, well, before we do that,
okay,
I watched something else Marvel over the weekend.
Yes.
Before I went to D&D and hung out with you guys, I had some time to kill. And I'm like, well, I have about a couple hours to kill. I'm going to watch Werewolf by Night. And by God, it was fantastic.
I'm going to watch that this week. Don't spoiler-free review. What's your spoiler-free review?
It's
and
not.
Next week we'll talk about it in full.
It's not exactly what the trailer portrays. There's the monster that is being hunted isn't the monster that we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is not what we think it is at all. And it's fantastic. And the way they use the black and white video, like the way they shot it, was done very well. It very much falls into that genre of storytelling, the way it was shot in the black and white and like the old serials back in the day. There's a character that when you turned on your camera today, I didn't even notice it because of the way your beard's coloring is now. You could easily pull off a cosplay of that character. It was very well done. They didn't go deep into the ancillary characters, but it definitely sets up something. I don't know if they're setting up a show or a movie or something.
Or just monsters in the MCU?
Yes. I think that's the overreaching setup. But I think they're setting up something. Because even like the beginning intro, like tease, like the beginning intro of Marvel, there's stuff in it that happens. And there's a lot of things that happen in it that like is like a debut episode kind of scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like hints at things and stories that they could tell. So it's definitely like a world building thing.
Nice. Awesome.
Trying very hard not to like
don't say anything.
So that's why it's very odd to not talk about.
No She-Hulk this week. I'm going to watch it this week.
Yes.
And next week we will talk spoiler.
It'll be a great Halloween thing.
Right.
It's very much that. It's very well done. It's very cool.
It's crazy to think. I'm looking at my calendar. So the 24th we'll be talking about it. And that will be like, and our last show will be on Halloween of the month.
Yes.
I don't have a meeting that day, so we might not be able to do a show.
Okay.
But if we don't do a show, the 24th works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. I will watch it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I've heard all good things. One question: is it serious? Is there humor, or is
it mixes it all together?
Okay.
I would say, yeah, it has moments of all.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
But the guy they picked to play Werewolf by Night is very good.
Nice. It's weird. I really haven't seen a lot of people talking about it.
It definitely didn't come out at the right time. It definitely should have been held till Halloween. Like that's when I would have put it out.
Or like this week after.
Or that weekend of Halloween. That'd have been the perfect time for it to drop. So I know they did it the same time that it came out the same time Hocus Pocus 2 came out.
Oh, yeah.
Around that same time. So I think it kind of got like
overshadowed by Hocus Pocus.
Because it would have been perfect timing. End of She-Hulk. Marvel thing needs a spot, something to put out. Put it out this coming weekend. You could have had a thing, promoting it.
Right.
You know.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of She-Hulk, we saw the season finale. It's interesting. I still feel the season finale was, I think the first 4, these last 2 were probably the strongest episodes out of the whole series.
Yes.
For me. I think the finale, some things worked for me, some things didn't work for me. It felt a little uneven. I'll go into that more a little bit later. I liked the fourth wall breaking, but I would have preferred it in the middle of the series, not at the finale. I have my reasons. I can get into it now, or I'll wait, but that's my overall feeling of the finale. What's your overall feeling? And then we'll get into it.
For me, I had to give it a second watch. First time through, there was a lot going on. A lot happened. And I was like, wow, this is a lot. And made me think of a lot of things, a lot of different shows and movies I've seen. Cat.
Come here.
So to go back and rewatch it again, just to kind of like see how I felt about it. And I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it was, for what the show was trying to do, I think it was a good finale.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great Marvel finale, but for the show itself, it was a great finale. And I can kind of see why, or I think I know why things happened the way they did, because of how the show was initially shot and then subsequent other MCU things that happened.
Yeah, but they didn't change the ending because of other MCU stuff, Mark.
No, but I think when they were planning out the series, they had a plan of doing something, and then when things were announced, they had to switch things, or when they were told what was going on, like they had, like in the episode, there was a scene where there's like a writers meeting.
Yeah.
And they discuss things, and you could, like, I think they had a plan for one thing and were told, no, you can't do that because we're doing this, that they changed it to something else.
I mean, we have that's pure speculation.
I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
I don't get that impression.
Verbatim happened, but because there's just certain things that happen at the very end of the episode that, unless they're leading to something, you can't just use that as a throwaway thing.
Well,
or unless they come back whenever she appears again and something happened and now this never happened.
Well, it all happened.
To rewrite it, that would make it make more sense.
All right, let's get into it. So with spoilers in hand.
Yes.
The thing I did really like was the opening, doing the original Incredible Hulk.
Yes, that was fantastic. Yeah.
Shot for shot, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, pretty shot for shot. Yeah.
It was, someone on YouTube put it together. They did it.
Yeah.
Pretty darn close.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought that was so cool. Now the fight breaks out that continued from the last episode.
The one thing I don't understand, though, before we get into all that.
Yeah, how did they capture her is what I don't understand.
Well, not only how did they capture her, but why did they capture her? What did she do that would warrant being put in prison?
There were some questions there for me, too.
Like, why would she be put in the same cell that Blonsky was in for pulling down a monitor wall?
And
she didn't do anything else. She didn't, like, rip anybody apart or kill anybody.
Right.
She just did some, like, light destruction of.
She hulked out.
She hulked out, but not even to like a point where she all she did was tear down a monitor wall.
She was
didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
She did property damage. That's like a misdemeanor. That's not something you get thrown into a top secret prison.
Let's go back to my least favorite part of the show is what's her face? That character, the influencer.
Titania.
She jumped through
a wall at a courthouse.
Yes.
How come she wasn't put in prison like that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe she was. We just never saw it on screen.
Yeah, but we had a whole plot line with her twice.
Yes.
We had two. She showed up twice.
That whole part with her getting thrown into the prison and being like knocked out.
It was kind of weak.
Just for picking a guy up. Like, she didn't do anything to the guy. She threw some guys around, but she didn't like. She's done that the whole season. How is it now an issue where she's being put in the jail?
I don't know. It was
that was the one thing for me that kind of like, I was like, the first thing that I was kind of like, well, this makes no sense.
Also, all the goodwill she has built with people, and the fact that someone was going to post the sex tape for everyone to see, they should be taking her side. Why?
Yeah, that was the thing that made no sense. It's like they needed to have a plot device to get to where they needed to get to, and that's where they went. Like, oh, we'll just have everyone turn on her because she's a woman.
Yeah, it made no sense.
It made no sense.
She hulked out, but
she hulked out and she scared her boss, so her boss fired her because she was defending herself against something someone did to her.
Right.
It was like being like, I don't want to say heavy-handed, but very heavy-handedly trying to be like, see how women are treated differently than men, which was not what I wanted to like say, but it's like it was just felt weird. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like the whole beginning of the episode didn't make any sense. It's
yeah.
Like, okay, so she's being fired because she pulled on a monitor wall because someone recorded a sex tape and was showing it in front of everybody.
They should be not mad at her. They should be mad at the person.
At the intelligentsia people.
Yes.
That's what didn't make any sense. It was like misplaced aggression.
Right.
So it didn't make it. They didn't. The escalation was too much and too out of left field, kind of.
And I find it odd that that group was having a meeting on the same property as the retreat place.
Well, they just rented the space.
I know, but you think they would know who's renting the space?
They don't care who rents the space. Like these banquet halls don't care who rents the space as long as you pay the fee.
It was very convenient. It was very convenient.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna get the plot device somehow. You know, you gotta That's what it seemed like. That was the thing. It seemed like there was too much that's very convenient in this
it's very
episode.
Convenient. I was like, why is that?
It was like, I don't want to say lazy writing, but there was a lot of lazy writing.
This show had a lot of bad and lazy writing, in my opinion.
It's like, we know what we'll do. We need to get to this place. Instead of like giving them a real reason for it, we'll just do this to get us there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wasted a couple episodes and they could have been building this up a little bit better.
It's like those things like it
our time.
It really comes down to the thing of it's a Marvel show, which is kind of like, I hate to say it, but this kind of scared me for Deadpool. Because it's like they're trying to mock themselves.
Yeah, but Deadpool is different. It's Ryan Reynolds.
I understand that, but I'm saying it just kind of scared me because, like, well, this is hopefully Marvel doesn't try to be heavy-handed and try to, fake mock themselves. Because this episode was very heavy on like Marvel trying to like meta itself.
It was very meta.
Yes, it was like, okay, we get it. You're a Marvel show. We don't have to like. There's a lot of heavy-handedness in this episode.
Yeah.
Hey, look at how funny we can be. We can make fun of ourselves. We know what you're saying about us, but we're going to make a joke about it, and you'll think it's funny.
Right.
It's like, no, it's that weird moment when the person that's getting picked on tries to pick on themselves, and it just feels sad. Like, you feel sad for them. Like, oh, I don't do that. Don't.
So you thought the Kevin bot was a little cringy?
Yes. Very cringy. Very too like, I don't want to say on the nose, but too like inside baseball-y kind of, it's like, oh, we get it. You're making fun of how Kevin Feige is kind of a robot.
Well,
it's funny, but you don't really need to do this. You don't need to do that. You could just.
So in the comic, She-Hulk has broken through the panels and has actually talked to the
Yes, which makes like I know that, but it's just kind of like the way they did it was just kind of.
It felt weird to me. I'll go back to what I was saying before. I kind of this premise would have worked in episode 4 or 5, where maybe the show was going off the rails.
Yes.
And she had to break into the writer's room and be like, "Hey guys, we need to focus.
Yeah.
Like, where are you taking?
Why are we getting so off the rails here?"
Right. That I would have loved. This felt like too late in the game.
Yeah.
The last episode just felt a little overstuffed.
It made it feel like they didn't know how to end it.
Yes.
That's the first thing that popped in my head as I was watching.
What was the buildup?
It's like what like they had an idea. Like that's what makes me go back to my initial thing was they had an idea in the writer's room. They pitched the idea. And as they're about to go into production for it, somebody or something said, "Hey, we're going to use this idea somewhere else. You can't do it." So they like, "Oh, crap." And they like threw together some idea. And like, "Okay, let's do that instead." Okay, that works. That'll get us out of here for the season, and then we could figure out next season afterwards. Because they like did all this stuff to lead to something that could have been something,
and didn't lead to anything.
They mentioned Red Hulk. They had the whole thing with her blood. It was a big thing. They had people trying to steal her blood all season.
Right.
And the only reason why they were trying to steal her blood is so the derpy guy can take her powers.
Yeah. Oh,
it was like they went too far with the like, tropey comic book things to make fun of comic book things.
Yeah.
And like she's like, and then she's trying to like comment on it, like, this makes no sense. Why are we doing this?
Sense. It didn't make any sense.
It's like, well, you guys wrote it. Why are you telling us why it doesn't make any sense? We know it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So then you're just gonna like have her change everything just to make it better?
Yeah.
Because she wants to. So there was no stakes in this season whatsoever. You made me sit through 6 episodes for nothing to happen.
Well, 9
episodes for nothing to happen. And the biggest thing that happened off screen.
Her and Daredevil got together.
Not even her and Daredevil. That's not even the biggest thing that happened off screen.
For me, it was. That was the biggest.
No, the biggest thing that happened off screen is Hulk went to Scar, had World War Hulk.
He didn't go to Scar. He went. He had a son, Scar.
Yeah, came back with a son,
which we brushed right over.
All off screen.
Yeah,
the whole huge Marvel story happened while She-Hulk was playing lawyer for 9 episodes and fourth wall breaking and jumping through into the real world and meeting a robot that runs the Marvel Universe and makes a joke about the X-Men.
I did like when the Daredevil episode happened, the way I felt like that to me is how the show should have been. And honestly, the end of this episode when they're having the picnic with the family, like the way everybody was talking.
Fast and Furious-esque.
Yes, but to me that felt, I liked the way they were interacting with each other.
That's the end of Fast and Furious. That's exactly what that was.
Well, I've never watched Fast and Furious.
Well, that's if you ever.
I don't get the reference.
That's the whole reference was. And then Hulk is.
Paul Walker?
No, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, I don't.
Which plays basically it was all that same thing. The cookout happens. They're joking around. Rock shows up. Rock steps away and reveals a character that's returning into the story. It was all like basically shot for shot. That's the final scene of like a Fast and Furious movie.
No. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I actually liked that scene. I wanted more. I love the actress playing Jen. I loved everything.
I liked everything. The show pieces were all good.
It's a writing was just
the story sucked.
Yeah.
And it's like the first thing that I watched of Marvel that was a Marvel Studios project that made me aggravated that I watched it.
Does this
like you made me sit through 9 episodes for nothing? Nothing happened in this show.
Eternals. Do you put this below Eternals or above Eternals?
Nothing's below Eternals. Eternals was totally useless.
The bottom of the barrel.
This is the first Marvel Studios show, I'll say, that like was like nothing happened. Not one thing happened in this show.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that happened in this show is she got her powers.
For me,
story-wise, nothing else occurred.
Her arc was this. She got her powers, she was cocky, and Hulk and Bruce Banner was like, hey, listen, it's a little bit more complicated than this. She had to learn the hard way, but after episode 4, we just took our time and did nonsense.
Yeah.
Then when she's about to learn her lesson, we skipped over everything. We went meta. We found out Hulk has a son now, Scar, and Daredevil showed up, and they boned.
Yeah.
And that
now they're a thing.
The whole story arc for her.
Now they're a thing.
That was it.
It was a whole show to set up other people's stories. That's what it was. That's what one sad part about the whole thing is this was a She-Hulk in name only. The stories that people cared about was Daredevil returning,
Wang coming back.
Yeah.
Wang
coming back.
Yeah.
And the Hulk stuff.
Yeah.
If you just had those 3 things in a small one-shot story, which is what this I guess will be, unless there's a season 2 of it. This was just like a speed bumpy like little thing, it was just there to
entertain,
window dress the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So they could throw in storylines that they didn't want to put in other things. And just to get things like, Abominations is now at Comitage and is probably going to be in the Thunderbolts. Because they're gonna, they didn't announce it at D23 because that would have gave away the ending to She-Hulk.
Because Wang took him again at the end.
Yeah, Wang took him again. So he's off there doing that. So now he'll appear somewhere down the road.
I mean,
it was all like telling stories to everybody else, and just there was a weird thing going on with She-Hulk at the same time.
I wanted more lawyer courtroom drama.
They did a very bad job with that.
It was only good when Matt Murdock showed up.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only time I was like, this is good. I want more of this. That's what I like. And I didn't get that. It was weird. I wanted a little bit more.
They tried too hard to be quirky.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it was a little too quirky.
It was like too hard trying to be like, oh, look at we can do a goofy show with a goofy character that's like kind of oddball-y.
And for a comedy, I barely laughed.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very funny.
I didn't laugh. I laughed when Daredevil left with his shoes. That was funny.
Yes.
I did laugh a little bit when it came to the Kevin bot. But there was the moments that were supposed to be comedy.
It fell on its face a lot, this show.
Yeah.
The issue that I have with it, and I watched like I said, I watched the finale twice to kind of like see if I'd have the same feeling. It's like it was too kitschy. It had too much like schmaltz. It was just trying too hard, is what the show was.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give our final verdict. What's our ranking of this episode? And then we will rank the whole season as a whole. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right. Episode.
Season finale. I'll give a 7. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was great, but it's passing. It's not like the worst thing. It had, like we said, had some good points. The Daredevil return, the thing with Hulk, the Kevin robot thing had moments. It was like a lot of stuff that had moments, but as a whole, it wasn't fantastic. Which is basically what I'll say about the series itself. Moments were great. The show itself wasn't fantastic. So I'll give the show overall 8. Maybe a low 8, high 7.
Wow. All right.
It's probably my least favorite Marvel show.
All right. Wow. For me, I give it a 7. The episode was a 7. Last episode I give it 9.
Yeah.
I was super pumped for this finale.
I was super excited for the finale, and they fell on their face. I feel like
yeah, a little
they
bit.
pooched the kick.
I
Why
just
right?
feel things should have been different. But anyway, I give it a 7. And the whole story itself, it is my least favorite MCU show.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like this should have been 6 episodes, not 9. I kind of feel like there was a lot of filler, not enough killer. I do agree with you that some of the moments are cool, but it doesn't equal up to a great series. I can watch those moments on YouTube. So for me, the series itself, I would say a 7. I would say a 7. I was gonna go a little bit lower, but I kind of feel like I still enjoy 1 through 4 in the last 2 episodes. So I say 7. It is something that I probably will never watch again. If they do season 2, I really hope we get actual courtroom drama stuff. I just want better writing. And I never want to see the influencer Titanium character ever again. I could care less about her character.
I don't think any of the villains I want to see ever again. I don't care about its intelligentsia, which I don't think that was really what it was about. Like the way they were setting it up was it was going to be like a big, big bad. And they set it up as a lukewarm bad. That's what she had the whole season, was lukewarm bads. There was never a big, like, imposing figure that you thought she couldn't take down.
It kind of sucked that we did get, she's trying to navigate the world as being She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But then it just became about, I need to find a boyfriend. And I kind of wish that story arc.
That's what I'm talking about. It feels like they like neutered her too much, like in a weird way. It's like they like went too tropey with things. Like, oh, she has man problems.
We didn't need that the first season.
Like, it's like she doesn't.
It should have been all 6 episodes of her navigating the world and trying to figure out what it's like to be a Hulk.
Yeah, and dealing with different villains and like having to like come to terms with being a Hulk and also a lawyer at the same time, where she has to defend people who've done things wrong.
Right.
That she like, it basically could have been her as Hulk in She-Hulk form, stopping bad guys, and then having to then defend said bad guys in court. That'd have been a whole great episode, or even a couple episodes of
she actually had to go against the guy. She had to actually represent a guy.
But she didn't know he was bad at the time. She thought he was just an idiot.
I like that though. I like that. That was kind of cool.
But instead of it being like an actual bad guy that had like consequences.
Oh, he was a dum-dum.
He was a total idiot. That was the thing. Like none of the bad guys, they went too far with the Z-list bad guys. Like the Blonsky thing, they like neutered that character down. Like they could have done a really good thing of him still being the way he was in the Incredible Hulk movies and still hating like Bruce and wanting to, like, imagine if that was the beginning of the season, was her having to defend Blonsky and he was still anti-Hulk and was trying to like
in that direction
and wanting to take out the Hulk and stuff like that.
We were going in that.
It'd have been way more of a story to tell than he'd become a pacifist and was like wanting to help people with their issues and being a motivational speaker. It like went too far left field.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of
like, it'd be cool. We could do a show about. It's like you're overthinking it. You don't have to go that far.
Yeah, totally. Well,
like she could have been defending Titania. Like that would have been the thing. Like if that Titania stuff happens, but instead of her taking her name and her being against Titania does something. She gets arrested for that, breaking into the court, and then her lawyer office makes her defend Titania. and that dynamic of her having to defend Titania. And then that all stuff happened after that. After she got her out, she then steals her name because she never trademarked it. Then there'd be like it's stakes involved.
Yeah.
Like, I just defended you. Why are you taking my name?
Right.
Kind of thing, you know? It was like they went they had avenues, and they were like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go this way instead. And we're gonna go that way. We're not gonna just take the usual, there's a good idea here. But no, look at over there, shiny object.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. I mean, if we get season 2, I hope it's a little bit better. I hope it's a lot better. I honestly hope it's a lot better.
Well, it's like it's just they got too meta is what the issue was.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't mind that meta scene. I would have just liked it if it was in the middle of the season, not the ending. And she comes back and everybody's in handcuffs. That's it. Everything's wrapped up.
She wrapped it all up in the outside the story.
Daredevil.
Although, did you get the one Wakanda joke? Black Panther joke?
Yes. Our graphic designers are out working on the next
Our visual effects guys are busy. They can't do it. Can you do it off screen? And then she does the change and you hear the Wakanda drums.
I mean, those are all things that, obviously Marvel's been dealing with working conditions for the special effects people.
Yeah.
And how a lot of things have been happening behind the scenes. So, I mean, I'm hoping they're making changes and not just poking fun.
Or just trying to act like they're mocking themselves. That's what I think it was. It was too inside, too meta of them picking on them own selves and hitting on things that people actually have complained about and want and you probably should have answers for, or give us some kind of clue as to what's going on.
Right.
Because it's been, talked about, the whole X-Men thing. I asked about it.
Well, we know the X-Men's coming.
Yes, I know, but it's we get it. You don't have to keep trying to be sly about it. Be like, oh, hey, we mentioned it in She-Hulk. Yeah, we get it.
We get it.
It was you know what the show was? One big dad joke. A lot of yeah, we get it. Yeah, that's funny. We get it.
One big dad. I wouldn't say it's a big dad joke.
The season finale was there's a dad joke. It was yeah, we get it. You can fourth wall break. We get it. You can jump outside of your screen. We get it. Kevin Feige's a robot. Hilarious.
I don't know if it's I guess I wouldn't compare it to a dad joke, but if you want to, I don't know, but I get what you're saying.
Unfunny jokes is what I'm trying to say.
All right, I got it. All right. Let's move on. That's our review of She-Hulk.
Yes.
Next week we'll be talking about what's it called? Werewolf Within? Monsters Within?
Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night. I don't watch the wrong movie because I don't know the name of it. Werewolf by Night. We'll be talking about that next week. Marcus, it's been a show.
It has been a show.
You're typing, you're texting.
Yeah, just one of the crew guys for the show can't make it tonight, so I had to let Jill know.
All right, Mark, let's wrap it up. Don't forget, in 2 weeks, East of the River.
Yes.
Right here
I might be there, I might not. We'll see what happens.
All right. You won't be there. You got things going on.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Mark, sign us off.
Yes, as always, be safe, be well, be kind.
Rewind.
Bye, everybody.